This again. All right. Hi. This is algebra distance learning lesson 10.8. This is trigonometry or trigonometric ratios. Okay. Okay. So starting over again, we're going to do this again. Here we go. I have my triangle. If I know how to do, we know that doing all the sides, if I have this side here is 7 inches and this side here is 10 inches, can I figure out what the other side is? The answer is yes. How can I figure that out? Because we know the Pythagorean theorem. If you know two sides of a right triangle, you can figure out the third. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We can figure out the question mark, the hypotenuse, because of that. If I have another right triangle, and this time I know this internal angle here is 40 degrees, can I figure out the third angle inside the triangle? The answer is yes, because I know that the angles, the internal angles of all triangles is 180 degrees. So if this is 90 and this is 40, then I know I'm going to go 180 minus 90 minus 40. That means that the other angle has to be 50 degrees. X equals 50 degrees. So that, if you know two sides of a right triangle, you can figure out the third by using the Pythagorean theorem. If you know two angles inside of a right triangle or of any triangle, you know that it adds up to 180. Okay, now we're back into trigonometry. Again, on page 649, you can read about the trigonometric ratios. And just you will have to memorize them. You got to know what sine, cosine, and tangent is. You'll see that some people use a word clue, and that is, you ever heard of this? S-O-A, SOHCAHTOA. Have you ever heard that before? Do you remember us talking about that last year a little bit? SOHCAHTOA. And that simply says this, that the sine of a ratio is, sine's ratio is opposite over, so S-O-H. Oh man, it's S-O-H. Okay, here we go. So, katoa. Opposite over hypotenuse. And the, that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And the tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay. That is my suggestion as to how you memorize this. SOHCAHTOA. S-O-H-C-A-H-T-O-A. SOHCAHTOA. I hear my daughter who is taking, I hear her friends who are taking Algebra 2 with Trig, and they talk about SOHCAHTOA all the time. Anyway, so knowing that that is the memorization, that's how you guys memorize this stuff. Let's now use it. If I have this is angle A, angle B, and angle C, and I've told you that this here is 10 inches long, and I've told you that this is 48 degrees, you can tell me what this degrees is right here because you know that the angles add up to 180. If I don't give you any other information, you can't tell me what that side is and what that side is, what X and Y is. Not without using one of these trigonometric ratios. Now, here's the deal. In order for me to find out and solve what X is, I need to use these trigonometric ratios. Now, from B's point of view, okay, so from B's point of view, I now need to use one of these ratios down here. I need to use one of these ratios to help me figure it out. I have to include, in my ratio, I have to include the side that I know. And I also have to include a side that I don't. So if I want to know what is A, okay, if I want to know what is X, then I need to include the 10 inches and X. Well, from B's point of view, which of these trigonometric ratios am I going to use to include the 10 and the x? Well, from B's point of view, my two parts that I'm going to use are the 10 inches, which is the opposite leg, and I'm going to use the x, which is the adjacent leg. So which of these ratios, sine, cosine, or tangent, includes the opposite leg and the adjacent leg? The tangent. The tangent is the one that uses opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to use tangent. Now, here's the deal. Here's how it works. Let's put this down. We know that B, what is the angle B? B is 48 degrees. So here's what we're going to do. We're literally going to copy this guy right here. The tangent equals opposite over adjacent. And we are going to plug it in. It's that simple. So let's type this in. So there's tangent of 48. Notice this, tangent of 48. Because it's the tangent of B that we're talking about. It's the tangent of B that we're talking about. And so it's the tangent of 48. And then I write down what is the opposite and what is the adjacent. The opposite is 10. Tangent of 48 equals 10 over what is the adjacent? Well, we don't know. That's the x. It's that simple. So everybody should write down tangent 48 equals 10 over x. I've literally rewritten this. I've rewritten this down here so that it fits exactly what I'm wanting. Now, on your calculator, type in the number 48 and then hit the tangent button and tell me what number comes up.
1.1106.
Okay, hold on. So it comes out 1.1106. Yes, when you're dealing with trigonometric ratios, you always give me 4 decimal places. That's the rule. You give 4 decimal places. Now, so the tangent of 48 is 1.1106. Okay, so then keep typing this. Now we're going to go equals 10 over x. Now we're just dealing with a equation. The x isn't happy. First of all, he's a denominator, so I'm going to multiply both sides by x, right? Get rid of them. I now have 1.1106x equals 10. Line down the equal sign, divide this by 1.1106, divide 10 by 1.1106, and I have my answer. What is 10 divided by 1.1106? Somebody, what is 10? I'll do it too, but you guys should all have your calculator out. I have 10 divided by 1.1106 equals 9. Now, let's look at this. Does that up here, in our little thing up here, does 9.0, I want you to round to the nearest tenth, round your distances to the nearest tenth. Does 9.0, because it comes out to 9.004144191, right? You all got that on your calculator. Does that look reasonable? Is that a number that could be the answer here? Does that look reasonable? The answer is yes. If this guy down here is 10, then this guy being 9, yeah, that's reasonable. We didn't come up with some number like 917 or something. 9 seems reasonable. Okay, now let's figure out what y is. Okay, let's figure out what y is right now. So listen, from B's point of view, I have 10 and I need y. So which of my ratios am I going to use the 10 and the y? The 10 is the opposite leg, and y is the hypotenuse. So which of my ratios uses opposite and hypotenuse? Well, that would be sine. Okay, so then let's do this whole thing here. I'm going to erase all this so I have a little bit of room so you can see. We're going to use sine. All right, so we know that the sine is opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, so then let's do it. The sine of what angle? 48, sine of 48 equals, opposite is 10 over y. All right, so then on your calculator, type in the number 48 and then hit the sine button. What do you guys get? 0.7431. So we end up with 0.7431 equals 10 over y. Right? Y can't be the denominator, so multiply this side by y, multiply this side by y. I now have 0.7431y equals 10 again. What is now divided by 0.7431? What is 10 divided by 0.7431? Well, let's see. 10 divided by 0.7431. Oops. 10 divided by 0.7431 equals, I end up with, what do you guys, I must have done something wrong. What did I do wrong here? Multiply by y, multiply by y. What did you guys get? What is 10 divided by, oh no, that makes sense. 10 divided by 0.7431 equals, okay, I have 13.5, right? Now, look up here. I have y equals 13.5. Does that look reasonable? What is going to be true about the hypotenuse of every triangle? What's going to be true? Somebody, what's going to be true about the hypotenuse, Daniel? It's the longest one, right? It's going to be the longest one. Now, look at this triangle. Does this look reasonable? This being 10, that was what was given to you. This side being 9.0 and this side being 13.5. Yeah, it looks reasonable. Okay? So the other part of this is that I might ask you to tell me what is this internal angle, which you can do. That's a 5th grade question, right? The internal angles add up to 180. So if I were to ever ask you to solve a triangle, what I'm asking you to do is to tell me what is the length of all the sides and what is the angles inside of the triangle, all 3 angles. It's that simple. So I don't have time to show you guys more of this. I am going to give you a couple of these to do, but what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a couple of odd ones to do today. And then we will go over this again tomorrow, and then I'll give you your very real homework for this. But my strong suggestion to you is that you actually do these odd questions so that you can practice it, so that you can make sure that you understand how to do it. Do we all understand? So again, you can go back and watch this video. Listen, Khan Academy, if I didn't give you enough here, this is the most basic trigonometric ratios there is. So if you want to go into Khan Academy, if I didn't explain it to you well enough, you can go on there and just type in, trigonometric, solving a triangle, and he will show you again after this. But either way, I will show you again tomorrow. I'm going to give you on page 652, you are going to do numbers 9 and number 11. Okay? That's it. Now, there's many aspects of this triangle, right? There's more than one, because you have to give me all 3 sides and all 3 angles. So there's multiple questions inside of each of these. You are solving the triangle. Round the length of the sides to the nearest tenth, etc. And both of those answers should be in the back of the book, which should make, you're just practicing today. Any questions about this? Okay, I know this is fast. We may end up having to extend our time. We may start at like 10 minutes to 10 here pretty quick, because it's tough for me to get this stuff done in 25 minutes. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. If we do it over 2 days, we'll see how it goes. You might be okay. All right, very good. So Daniel, I am going to talk to you for a second. Okay, so the other 6 of you guys can go. There's your homework. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
Yep.